BlackBerry is the 2023 film directed by Matt Johnson. It's written by Matt Johnson and Matthew Miller, and we have a cast including Jay Baruchel and Glenn Howerton. And I was really, really looking forward to this, primarily because I miss my BlackBerry so much. And if they were available today, I would absolutely buy one. And I feel like they should make a comeback. And I was really looking forward to this film, even when it first came out. But I think I went onto a streaming site, either one that I didn't have, or it was only available to rent for quite a high price. Either way, as much as I wanted to see it at the time, I didn't, and then I kind of forgot about it. So I'm glad now to have finally watched it. I watched it on Paramount via Amazon Prime, and I'm not very impressed. I will say before I continue, it has 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb across 54,000 reviews and ratings. So it seems like in general it's very well received, but I don't think it was very well done. There are some good moments, and I will talk about those without giving any spoilers. I'm not entirely sure if I could spoil the history of BlackBerry. I guess if you're unfamiliar with BlackBerry and you're watching this to get some basic knowledge, then I guess I could spoil it, so I won't go into too much detail. But I will point out some things that were done well and some things that weren't. But basically, the film is about the rise and fall of the BlackBerry, how it came about, the problems they encountered, the excitement. We actually get to see clips of the launch of the BlackBerry and people showcasing the BlackBerry, and those are things that I hadn't seen. I don't remember them. I have absolutely no recollection of that time period when it comes to BlackBerries. I've always been very late to the game when it comes to technology, and I think largely because I fear, like a lot of people, I fear technological advances until enough people have used them that they're deemed safe. And it was really exciting to see those clips. But the first half of the film, and the length is definitely one of the problems. Well, I guess it's more so the pacing, but the first half of the film is so boring. It took us pretty much that length of time to actually see the phone for the first time. Obviously, I wasn't expecting to see it in the opening scenes because it's all about the process of getting to that idea and then creating the prototypes and then obviously the journey of the BlackBerry after that. But nothing happened. It was very, very slow for a very, very long time. And then when the excitement did happen, I thought, fantastic, the pacing has changed. Things were moving forward a lot more quickly. They were facing a lot more problems that they had to overcome. And that part of it was exciting, but by no means was there enough interest there for an hour. The second half, I say roughly the second half, initially very exciting. The BlackBerry has been launched. Can't wait to see what happens. We do get to see the phones, of course, and it just, so much nostalgia. Absolutely loved it. And then it slowed down a bit. And that's not to say there weren't moments here and there that I enjoyed. There definitely were, but I found the characters to be, honestly, and I know this is going to sound really cruel because they're obviously based on real people, but I found them to be really boring and sometimes really unlikable. I just didn't find them to be interesting. They weren't very charismatic. I didn't care about their journey. I cared about the phone's journey, but I never really found them to be interesting individuals. So I'd like to think that they're not accurate representations because I didn't really like the characters. But obviously, I don't know how accurate it is. If anybody has any information on that, please feel free to share. But the point there is that the narrative is way longer than it needs to be. The pacing is not great. There's not enough there to sustain itself effectively for 2 hours. And the characters are generally not interesting. So they don't have the characters to fall back on when the pacing or the narrative is not doing very well. And it's also a comedy drama. And I didn't see the comedy. I really didn't find the comedy in this. That's not to say there wasn't the occasional dry line. I do like dry humour. There were a few things here and there. But in general, at no point would I have said BlackBerry is a comedy. It is a drama, yes. Certainly after the first half, things do pick up a bit and it does get quite dramatic and intense. And it's, I guess, unpredictable if you don't know the final outcome of the BlackBerry. But I think it needed a lot of work. It's not very well written. The pacing isn't great. The characters, at least for me, are not that interesting. Sometimes I even found them a little bit unlikable. And the performances are fine. With the material they had to work with, the performances are fine. We have some nice clips and shots of the phones, and that all worked very well. But that being said, the phones aren't on screen or in view anywhere near as much as I expected. So I don't think they did that as well as they could have done either, but it wasn't horrendous. So all things considered, I think BlackBerry's a really disappointing film. As I said, it has 7.3 out of 10 across 54,000 reviews and ratings on IMDb and a Metascore of 78, which is pretty phenomenal. And I just thought it was a drag. Very slow, very dull, definitely not funny, not the most likable characters, and we didn't see the Blackberries anywhere near as much as I would have liked. Not that I think it should have been on screen all the time, but considering I watched this to learn more about the history of BlackBerry and also to get that nostalgia, yes, there were bits of it, but nowhere near as much as I think they should have included. So I don't think it worked very well, but a lot of people seem to love it. Do I recommend it? Only if you're a big BlackBerry fan, or if you particularly have a very, very strong interest in the history of mobile phones or cell phone technology, in which case, yeah, you might find it really fascinating. But I find it hard to believe that the 54,000 reviews and ratings on IMDb are primarily from people who have a strong interest in the history of cell phones. So maybe my opinion is a rare one with this one. Maybe everybody else loves it for various reasons. Maybe my expectations were too high, but I still think I have valid reasons for disliking it. I didn't hate it, but there was a lot of room for improvement. And ultimately, while I liked the little moments of nostalgia with the Blackberries, the film itself really did not meet my expectations.